Woo! We are so fucking back. I think. Maybe. We might not be. It could all be over. A lot of news from Raw tonight that makes me really excited. It's actually kind of, I don't know, we're pulling this back. I think there might be hope. Maybe. Look, I gotta give hats off to them. They've taken this situation and they have ran with it. It somehow turned Cody Rhodes into the biggest star going right now. And it's turned WWE into one of the biggest talking points online at all. And that's never a bad thing. As much as The Rock versus Roman coming out of nowhere and completely derailing the road to WrestleMania might be a bad thing, this many people talking about investing in and caring about the business will never ever be a bad thing. First off, let's move away from the Cody stuff because that's the important stuff. I'm going to get back to that. Don't worry. Just quick speed run through all the other stuff. This Raw was basically a setup show for the Elimination Chamber, which, I mean, finally they're acknowledging exists outside of advertising it, because holy hell, we're like 3 weeks away and there hasn't been anything announced for it. But it's all good. We're making moves now. We're fine. First up, we had Becky Lynch win her spot in the Elimination Chamber match in what was a really boring match, I have to say. It was hard to get invested because, to be honest, Shayna's not really over with me. I don't think she's really over with a lot of people at the moment. And the match was a foregone conclusion from the start. Becky was never losing that match. That said, fun little fact that I learned today, Becky Lynch has never been in an Elimination Chamber match. How have you done literally everything there is to do in this business and you've never done an Elimination Chamber match? I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I just thought she did. Honestly, we could have just gone on saying she did, and I think everyone would have just been like, yeah, probably. We also had DIY winning a 4-man tag. Yep, cool. They're slowly getting that momentum with the main roster crowd, and I am here for it. They are awesome, and I think they'll only get better as people can get more and more invested in them. I do think they kind of, stumbled a little bit, but they're making their moves now, and that's what's up. We like to see that. So winning that match gave them the right to face Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate for the opportunity to face the Judgment Day for the tag team titles at Elimination Chamber. And if you want my honest opinion on this, I like it. DIY is a team that I think needs to see a setback here. I don't think they win this, and I think that actually helps them. They're in a very different position from a lot of people where they need to feel like the underdogs. They need to feel like they can't win. And what better way to have them feel like they can't win but to make them lose? That said, I would love for them to get these belts onto them, mostly because the Judgment Day with these belts is not doing it for me. I'd also love to see these belts split into two, because the tag team division is so stacked right now and they're not getting to do anything. It is frustrating to me that you keep having Imperium and the New Day and DIY and the Creed Brothers and all these other tag teams like the LWO and Legado del Fantasma all on the roster, not competing for anything. They're just there. Do something with them. Give them something to strive for, because they really need it at this point. Oh, and that said, we actually got our first confirmed match. It's a match I think we all kind of knew was happening, but we finally got Rhea versus Nia confirmed for Elimination Chamber. I also think this is the way to go, and I've actually got a video coming out later in the week about my perfect Elimination Chamber match card with what we know so far, and I was already writing it over the weekend, and to be honest, this match was already on there. I know people would have rather seen Rhea versus Liv or Rhea versus Becky, but I think right now you need Rhea versus Nia, because trust me, you do not want to take babyface Liv or babyface Becky into that Australian crowd against Rhea Ripley. It's not going to work. Just give her a heel to conquer, give her a big match. That's it. That's all it needs to be, because that crowd is going to scream for her. Just a little side note, as turbulent as this whole road to WrestleMania has been with the we want Cody and the we want Rocky and no one seems to want Roman, I must say that the women have been a shining light in a very dark tunnel. They're killing it. The whole women's division is putting on a show right now. It's something to be said that the match I'm most excited for at Elimination Chamber is easily the women's chamber match, considering who I think are going to be in it. But I'll get into that in another video. Moving forward, this isn't really Elimination Chamber match, but it's still important to the scope of WWE. In the last week, we had Gunther surpass 600 days as Intercontinental Champion. Everyone clap. Are we all clapping? Cool. And what does he get for it? He gets a match with the only Samoan that the WWE fan base likes at the moment, because they don't like Rock, and they don't like Roman, and they don't like Jimmy, and they definitely don't like Solo, but we love Jay. When Gunther was out there and Jay's music popped, I actually verbally popped in my room, by myself. I love this guy. I think he's got it all. I think he's got it to be a world champion. He is totally up next. And if I'm honest with you, he should be the one to eventually finish the Bloodline story. Not Rock, not Solo, and not Jimmy. It started with Jay, and it needs to end with Jay. But that can all happen after he wins the Intercontinental Championship. Sorry, Gunther, you had your fun. It was a great reign. You're the best. But you need to be going after the World Heavyweight Championship by now. You know, maybe we can finally get a move on those plans that have been plans for about 3 years for your world title push. Let's make it happen. Come on, let's make it happen quick because I want to see Jay with that title and I want to see you with the World Heavyweight Championship. All right, good. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's go over the Cody stuff because this shit is wild. Raw opens with Seth freaking Rollins making the call for answers from Cody Rhodes in regards to his WrestleMania opponent. Basically saying what we're all saying, which is, what are you like actually challenging him or not? Funnily enough, he got a huge negative reaction when he asked that. The people do not want that match. Out comes Cody to a huge reaction, one of the more loud words we've heard in a while. And I must say, for a star to be in this ring week in and week out and still have this incredible reaction, obviously it's a special circumstance, but he's here every single week and he's still getting these screaming woes and these huge pops when his music hits. They're singing along. Like, this guy has such an undeniable connection with the fans. And the fact that they are even teasing that they would completely forego that is insane to me. However, it must be said, Cody did not get to say much at all. And I think that's very much so on purpose. And before long, it's everyone's least favorite Scotsman, Drew McIntyre, sporting one of the best shirts I've seen ever. So I'm going to be getting that 100%. And he immediately starts pulling for a Mania match for himself with Seth. And in an effort to scare Cody off of it, he seems to go with the pleading route. You deserve to finish your story. You worked so hard for this. This is your moment. He also buries Roman Reigns a little bit by straight up just saying what we're all thinking. Essentially saying nobody wants to fight Roman anymore because they're sick of getting beaten up by his cousin. I don't know why, but that got me because I'm here for it too. I am so sick of seeing these bloodline interferences, especially when they don't need to happen. Look, most of the time I get it. Fine. You want a heel champion to be a heel, but you also want your big dominant champion to maybe be a bit dominant sometimes. After all this, Drew McIntyre just decides to headbutt Seth Rollins because why not, I guess. He gets chased off by Cody Rhodes. I don't know how he keeps getting away with beating up injured people, but I mean, good for him. And that's the end of that segment. Overall, it showed me that WWE is now really willing to lean into the emotional reaction for Cody Rhodes. And I think to anyone with a brain, that would be a really, really, really good sign. That said, I don't think this was ever the plan. I think they expected to come in with The Rock and that was that. But you better believe they're going to pivot the shit out of this thing. And look, at this point, you've leaned so far into it that if you don't at least add him to the mat, what are you doing? There's only so far people can be pushed. If you're not planning on delivering when you've leaned so far into this already, do you expect the fans to stay around? Because they're not going to. There's a certain point where you've played too much with their emotions and not given them exactly what they want that will immediately check people out. Look, I understand if they don't want to have him win yet. I totally get that, but he has earned his place in this match, and that's so clear given the fans' reaction. You know what? No, I take that back. He should win. He should definitely win. Both of these people are not fit to be a full-time champion. But whatever, I digress, because if I get into that, I'm going to get mad. It's worth noting that throughout the show, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were really adamant at mentioning that nothing was confirmed yet and that everything is still on the table and we're going to have to find out what happens Thursday at the press conference. I've never imagined people would be so hyped up for a damn press event. But you got me. I'm here. I'm gonna be watching it live. I don't know what time it is for me. I better look into that. But I'm gonna be watching that live, and I'm probably gonna make a video immediately after it. So stay tuned for that one. Now that brings us to the main event, which was a bit pointless. We've already seen the Cody Rhodes Shinsuke thing, but they probably just needed to put him into a match, and if this works, it works. Fine. Not a big deal. It's his dad's match. He wins. Pretty clean. It's all good. What happened after was a bit more exciting because we saw Drew McIntyre jump Cody Rhodes from behind, and there's a lot of speculation as to what this could mean. Could this be motivation for Cody Rhodes to get into the World Heavyweight Championship picture? I don't really think so. For me, I'm fairly sure that we're looking at Cody Rhodes' match for Elimination Chamber. And honestly, you're one of your most hated heels and the most loved face in the company, or even in the business right now. That sounds like a pretty good match for me. So I'm more than happy with that. We've been seriously lacking some star power on that Elimination Chamber card with all the injuries and with Roman possibly not going. So I'm more than happy to see that. All put together, what started as a really dire week has me not only really excited, but also just genuinely locked into every bit of WWE content that's coming out for the next 2 weeks. Yes, I know, they got me. I'm a mark. I don't care. I'm a proud mark. They got my ass. I'm in. I need to see what happens with this situation. That said, they can severely screw this up, and I think a bit of me just wants to pay attention to it to see if they do. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the news from Raw this week. Other than that, not a whole lot. Just a bit of setting up Elimination Chamber, and that's cool to me. I think what we really need to look to this week is that press conference and SmackDown, because those two shows are going to be huge. All right, that's all my thoughts. Catch you in the next one. Peace.